Hey everybody, it's Dana. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to make a clean and simple sympathy card. Sympathy cards are kind of hard for me to make because you don't want them to be glittery or over the top. So I'm going to grab some wide removable labeling tape, and I'm going to use this prayer stamp set and die from Simon Says Stamp. So I'm just going to pull me off a little bit of the tape, and I like how wide it is. This is perfect when you need to die cut. I'm going to go ahead and put down that prayer die cut, and I'm going to run this through my machine. Now you can use any other kind of masking tape, but this works perfect. Alright, so I've gone ahead and run that through my cutting machine, and I'm going to gently lift it off of the plate. Being careful, since it's a very thin sentiment, I don't want to tear it. Now, for me to line this back up correctly on my card, I'm going to go ahead and take the negative part of the tape, place it across my paper, and this is watercolor paper here, and then I'm going to inlay the sentiment back into the tape. And this just helps to assure that the sentiment is going to be straight on the card, because usually if you try to put down adhesive sentiments, you know, it can get kind of wonky. So this way I know it's going to be perfectly straight against my card. So I'm just going to press it down, and now I can remove the negative part again. And if I was smart, I would have did this all at once when I removed it from the plate, but I wasn't thinking until I got ready to lay down the sentiment. So I'm going to press that into it very well so none of my distress ink gets underneath it. So I'm going to use a couple colors of distress ink, keep it kind of muted. So I'm going to use tumbled glass and broken china. These colors here are some of my favorite blue color combinations. So I sped this up because this took me some while to lay down a very light first coat of color. And I'm just going to make the edges a little bit darker, but I want the overall card to be kind of light. So I'm just going around in circular motions around my sentiment, and then I'm bringing in the color from the side. So as I build up my colors, my edges are going to be darker, but the majority of the card is going to have like a light and airy feeling. I don't want this card to be like a wow in your face card, because to me sympathy cards are more maybe like a muted tone because of the occasion, of course. So I'm going very lightly around the card, and when I feel like I have enough done, I'm going to go ahead and switch colors. So I'm going to come back in with the broken china, and that color is going to be what makes the dark almost like shadow around my card. I'm not going to pull this color too far into the card. I want it just around the edges, just to give the card the sentiment. When I pull up the tape, that sentiment will be like your focal point where your eye goes to. So I don't want this darker blue all the way around the middle part, just around the corners, so it gives more of a shadow around just the edges. So I'm just going to really work that in, remembering just to go around the outside of my card. And this is a really easy technique to do. So now I'm going to grab a stencil, and this one again is a light airy flower stencil. I didn't want any like lines or polka dots, just something really soft, and I'm going to place that right over the sentiment. Now since the tape is still on there, the flowers are actually going to look like they're behind the wording. So I'll show you that in a second. So let me go ahead and just press this down, and I'm going to come back in with another color of blue. I'm going to use peacock feathers, and like I said, these blue combinations are gorgeous together. So you're going to see I'm not going to do circular motions here. I'm going to actually pounce the color in, and that is because this stencil, it's kind of how do I want to explain it? It will bend very easily because of the flower design in there. So I don't want to rub because I'm going to end up getting a whole bunch of streaks on my card. So I'm just pouncing the color in. And if you stencil like on walls, or like we were stenciling back in the early 90s, you had a pouncer. So I'm just using my blending tool to actually pounce the color in instead of rubbing. So let me lift that up and show you this pretty design. You see how pretty that is? A very nice and soft card, not loud in your face. So next I'm going to grab my tweezers and I'm going to pull up that masking tape. And now it looks like the flowers are actually behind my sentiment. I love how this card came out. So let me bring that up. Can you see that? A very nice and soft card. All right, to finish up my card, I just grabbed two of the smaller sentiments out of the stamp set. And you guys know I love my VersaFine Black Onyx ink for when I need to do my sentiments. So I'm going to press this down, and using a Misty tool is great because it has the ability to get my card, or my sentiment rather, lined up perfectly. Sorry for the crazy hair too. I had the fan blowing because it was kind of hot in my room. All right. So basically my card is done. Very simple and to the point. You guys know I always use white card bases. So this here is actually Stampin' Up! Thick white cardstock. This is probably going to be one of my all-time favorite card bases. I'm going to bring in my microfiber rag just to put the tape on the back of my card. I had a heat set the ink, but I just want to make sure that it does not get on the back of my card when I put the top panel on. So that's the only reason why I have that my microfiber rag, to make sure that that color does not transfer onto the back of my card. All right, so I'm just going to bring my base card in and put my panel on top. Again, so sorry for the crazy hair. All right, and there we have it. The card does not have a lot of bulk, and it'll be easy to send into the mail. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I will see you guys soon. I want you to go forth and be crafty. For stopping by today, please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. You can also find me right here on all my social media platforms. I will see you guys soon. Take care.